Insights from Sahi Al-Bukhari Hadith number 166. In the narration of Ubayd ibn Jurayj, we find the recounting of a dialogue with Abdullah bin Umar, a prominent companion of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The hadith encapsulates insights into specific behaviors and practices observed in Abdullah bin Umar that seem to deviate from general customs, prompting curiosity and inquiry. The dialogue opens with Ubayd ibn Jurayj expressing his observations to Abdullah bin Umar, saying, "O Abu Abdurrahman, I saw you doing for things which I never saw being done by any one of your companions." This opens a window into an inquiry about actions that appear peculiar and merit explanation, showcasing Ubayd's interest in understanding deviations from prevalent practices. Abdullah bin Umar carefully listens to the observations and responds by listing and elucidating the reasons behind these actions, connecting them to the practices of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, whom he ardently followed. Firstly, Abdullah mentions touching only the corners of the Kaaba that face south, Yemen. He explains that he never saw Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, touching any other corners of the Kaaba except these. This indicates Abdullah's attempt to replicate the actions of the Prophet, adhering closely to his observed practices in sacred rituals. Secondly, he reflects on his choice of footwear, specifically shoes made of tanned leather. Abdullah narrates his observations of the Prophet wearing non-hairy shoes and performing ablution while keeping the shoes on. Thus, by wearing similar shoes, Abdullah expresses adherence and affinity towards the practices of the Prophet. The third observation pertains to Abdullah's choice to dye his hair with henna, a kind of red dye. He clarifies that he saw Allah's Messenger applying henna to his hair, thus motivating his own similar practice. This reflects Abdullah's endeavor to embody the Prophet's personal practices in his own life. Lastly, concerning the assumption of ihram for Hajj, Abdullah explains his preference not to assume Ihlal till the day of Tarwiyah, 8th of Dhul-Hijjah. This diverges from the common practice of assuming ihram upon sighting the new crescent moon. Abdullah recalls seeing the Prophet assuming Ihlal only when setting out for Hajj, which is why he, too, adheres to this timeline. Through this hadith, scholars and readers gain an understanding of the profound influence the Prophet's practices had on his companions. Abdullah bin Umar, through his emulation of the Prophet in simple yet significant ways, exemplifies the devotion and reverence in following the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad.